Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good afternoon. I apologize for whoever's watching because normally I don't record so late in the day, but I've had a slightly busy Monday, or shall I say, a lazy Monday, and I was paying off a sleep debt. So, diving right into lesson number 4 from my mother. I'm not going to show her picture in every video and say she's the center of my universe. That is understood. But lesson number 1, if I can do a quick recap of the lessons that we've all granted, done. Number 2, motivate your child with the truth. Again, wonderful. Number 3 was one thing at a time. So it was a treatise against the common understanding of multitasking and how deep focus can be a much better approach. Number 4 touches upon this very interesting thing that she says, that food is for sharing. And she says, or your parents or your friends, but it doesn't stop there. So I've taught in the Turkish government before, and I've taught here in Montreal as well. And even there, if you have some food, share it with your students. Then our company was incubated, still is incubated at HEC Montreal. And whenever you go, if you have some food, just share something. If you have a box of chocolates, just share something. And I would have a problem with this, particularly when I was younger, because I would say, no, I want my pizza all to myself. I don't want to share it. And she'd say, one slice isn't going to change anything. One slice is enough. And of course, there are people who may oppose this and say, well, one slice is for one person. If you give all the slices away, you have nothing left. Let's not go into those polemics, because that is idiocy. You don't give away the whole food, but you share. That's why the lesson is not about food is for giving, it's food is for sharing. And I used to ask her why this matters. She said that it increases the love between human beings, it's charity, it's this, that, the other. But I remember, I think it was last year, before HEC Montreal had happened, before the company had started. So I was new in the country, and I wasn't at the financial edge, but I was still trying to find a financial route. And my mum said, and I was at McGill on scholarship, but even the scholarship from McGill isn't enough, particularly from the program I was doing. So I said, Mum, this is the problem. And she said, would you like me to send you money? I said, no. Thank you so much. But no, I want to figure something out for myself. And she said, what do you have in your fridge? I said, well, I named some types of food. And she said, what do you have in your freezer? And I said, I have some minced meat, which is frozen. I'll defrost it in a couple of days and I'll make some food out of it. And she said, why didn't you give that minced meat away to a beggar? And I said, we don't have beggars in Montreal. She was like, yes, you do. You have a lot of people who are homeless. You have a lot of people who are asking for money. And I said, yes. She said, why didn't you just give it to them? And I said, Mom, that's embarrassing. Going up to someone and say, hi, you look poor, here's some food. She said, well, you don't have to say it that way. When they ask you for something, just offer it to them. If they take it, they take it. And I said, it's going to be frozen. What are they going to do with it? She said, that's up to them. If they want to throw it away, they can throw it away. But I promise you, another human being would appreciate the gesture. And I said, I don't know. Going to someone, because in Montreal, like New York, like London, there are a lot of people who are struggling to acquire adequate housing, which is a topic I might take up in my future political career. But there are a lot of them, particularly in the downtown city center, where I was living at the time. And I just didn't feel comfortable going to someone and saying, here's some frozen minced meat, take it, it might help you. And they'll say, well, what am I going to do with it? Well, where do I cook it? If you want to give me something I can eat now. That was my perception. But because she's my mother, after the last 35 years, she hasn't guided me wrong. Neither has my father. So I I take their advice when, even when rationally speaking, I'm skeptical. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. So it was cold. It was January or February, around that time. It was cold. I remember it was snowed and it was cold, but the homeless people were still on the streets. It doesn't matter if they're cold; they're in their jackets, but they still don't have homes. So I went to them, and this was on Avenue du Parc. If anybody knows Montreal, it was on Du Parc Avenue. Uh, and I went to a group of them, and I said, bonjour, and they said hi, bonjour, and I spoke a bit of broken French, which I'm not going to replicate here. But I went to them and said, I wish I could help you more, but I had some food. It's not cooked, uh, but if you'd like to take it, I'd love to share it with you. And they just looked at me like, thank you, merci, merci, thank you, God bless you. That was it. There was no, what am I going to do with this? It's not cooked. It's old. Nothing like that. They took it. They took it from me. And I felt good because I had helped another human being. I'd given something away from myself, which might be of benefit to someone else. And at that time, I wasn't thinking, oh, I'm helping this other person. So therefore, the universe or the circumstances or God is going to help me alleviate whatever financial difficulty I'm having with McGill. I didn't think along those lines. I was just thinking, my mum has asked me to do something, and I don't know the end of it, but I'm all about taking a leap of faith. So I trust what she said, and I'm going to give it to the other person. And I gave it to them, and they took it, smiled, blessed me, and I walked around a bit because I wasn't ready to come back home. And I was like, okay, wow, okay, let's think about this. Oh, it's a bit cold. And then I went home. And then 2 weeks later, McGill wrote to me saying, 2 weeks later, or a couple of weeks later, McGill wrote to me saying, Ali, you have been selected for the Barbara Seal Scholarship, and it's going to be this amount, and it's going to go to your tuition fee, and it won't come into your account. We'll just directly deposit it. But because we know your grades are this, I had a 3.9 GPA. So you have good grades, and we have become aware that you're looking for financial support. We offer you the Barbara Seal Scholarship, and it's going to go directly to your account, and you don't have to pay tuition fee for the next term. And the first person I called was my mother. I said, Mom, this just happened. And she started crying, because my mom cries. She started crying and said, I told you it would happen. You need to have faith in God, but if you don't believe in God, you can replace it with karmic law, universal law, the law of attraction, the law of reaction, Newtonian. You can use whatever you like. In Urdu, we have a saying. It says "Neki kar darya mein dal." So it means if you're going to do a good deed, do it and put it in the sea, which doesn't make sense in English. But the meaning of it is that don't think of the before and after of the deed. Do the deed because the deed is good, and let nature take its course, as it did here. It was a big scholarship, enough to cover everything I was looking for, and I was dumbfounded because I said, Mom, when you said this to me, I was very skeptical. I'm still skeptical. How does it work? I took frozen minced meat to a homeless person. They took it. A couple of weeks later, I have a scholarship. I didn't need to call a minister. I didn't need to wait outside an office. It just happened. As a rationalist, we're skeptical about these things. So we may discuss, oh, XYZ may have been happening. But from a faith point of view, from the subjective point of view, I knew I had difficulty, and my mother had a solution which was unorthodox, and it solved the problem. And it has happened so many times that I wonder whether this rationalist perspective is seeing everything. I value it above everything else, mind you. But is it seeing everything? And if not, how can I expand it further? These lessons are one of those examples. Because my mother's lessons aren't always rational, but they work. The examples here. So, the sharing of food started there. And then I remember, because people in Montreal, particularly during the pandemic and even after, order food online all the time, and the whole world does. Uber Eats is one big thing, but also we have DoorDash, Skip the Dishes, blah blah. So I order food almost every week, maybe twice a week. So I was ordering it, and somebody came to my house, and it was raining. And I remember I don't live on the ground floor. I live a few floors above, and they came to my house to deliver the food. And at that time, it was a pizza. And I took it, and I said merci beaucoup, and I said thank you, and I said goodbye, because I don't like the tipping metrics that all these apps and services have. I don't support them. I don't like them. I don't like the whole structure that they have. So if I tip there. Otherwise, I don't tip. And I was watching the guy who had come to deliver my food. It was raining. He had come all the way to my floor and handed me the pizza. And while he was leaving, I felt like saying, "Hey man, you wanna stop and eat a little?" But I didn't. I didn't. And he left, and I watched him walk back in the rain. And I said, "Okay, maybe this is something I can start doing." So next time I ordered some food, I remember, I forget his name because now it's been a few times. I remember this gentleman came, and I had ordered Chinese food. And typically, what I order is two mains and a soup, because the Chinese soup is wonderful. So it was chicken corn soup. So I ordered an extra one. And as soon as the guy delivered, he was like, "Okay, merci." I said, "Wait. I have something for you." And he was like, "What?" And I went inside, I ripped open the bag, and I took one of the soups, and I presented it to him. I was like, "This is for you." And he was like, "What? That's odd." I was like, "I ordered an extra one just for you. You're working so hard, and you're moving around, and you're traveling. I mean, this is while you sit in the car going to the next delivery, maybe you can drink a bit of soup. If you need a spoon, I can give you a spoon." He said, "No, I'm fine, but thank you, brother." He said, "Brother." He left. The heart was like this. I was like, "Whoa!" And as a Muslim, I prostrate all the time. So I fell down, and in front of God, and I said, "Thank you for giving me the opportunity to do so." Because there are many people who don't have food or money, or adequate food or money. And there are many people who have it, but maybe not a lot of them are doing this. And if they are, that's great. I haven't done this before. I'd like to do this a lot. And since then, I think I've done it with 7 or 8 deliverers successfully. 2 or 3 are like, no, I'm good. No. And even when I insist, they're like, "Nope, I'm good. Thank you so much. Thank you for the thought." And I'm like, okay. But and I even when I was doing it, I wasn't thinking of, "Oh, I'm giving this person this pack of samosas is going to bring me more money." I wasn't thinking that. I'm not going to tell you what happened financially, because some good things really did happen. Um, and I was looking to increase my financial standing, and it just happened. If it was tied to this, fair enough. Even if it wasn't, I remember my mother's lesson of sharing food. So every time somebody delivers something now, so yesterday, for example, I ordered pizza again. As soon as the gentleman came, I did this. I opened it up, and I've done this before. Uh, and they're like, "No, no, 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 no." I was like, "No, it's just one slice. Here, let me break it for you." They're like, "No, I can break it myself." And then they break the slice, and they stand and speak to me for 2 minutes. I'm like, "So, how many more deliveries do you have now?" "Oh, man, I started at 8, and I'm going to work till 10 in the evening, 10 at night, and I have this, and I have to do that." And they're just tired. And I'm like, "Take another slice." "No, no, 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 no. Take another slice. I have 12 more. Take another slice." And they take it, and they're like, "Thank you. Thank you. This was very good." Then one gentleman came one time. And I remember he was a big guy, and he was rushing. And I had ordered Pakistani food. So Pakistani food has this thing called a fish pakora. Now, pakora, I'm not going to explain to you. Please just Google it. Pakora. And they fill it either with meat, with potatoes, with spinach, or with fish. So this one had fish in it. And I ordered like a big plate. So it had 6 or 7 in it. And I took it, and I said, "Do you like fish?" He said, "Yeah, I like fish." I said, "Why don't you take some?" And he was like, "What?" And I said, "In fact, why did you take all of it?" And I gave it to him. I was like, no, I can't do that. I was like, no, look, I have 3 other things to eat. This is enough. Take the fish, enjoy it, share with your friends, give it to your girlfriend or your spouse or whatever, or your boyfriend. Enjoy it. I felt amazing doing that. I hope he enjoyed it wherever you are, whatever your name was. I hope you enjoyed the fish because it's delicious. So, what I'm trying to say is that financially speaking, it's like $5 extra that you pay, and it's on every food. So it's not a big financial dent. Don't buy them a 7 course meal if it's difficult for you, but a small amount of food if it's shared. Small. Like I had 3 other, what shall I say? Not entrees, mains, which I could eat. So I gave an entree to the other person. And I've been doing it for the last few months, and my mum's been very happy. And I've been very happy. Because of this, I've told my brothers, because whoever orders food, I was like, do you know what? If you're ordering like a 3 course thing, maybe add an extra appetizer to it. And when the deliverer comes, give it to them. If they're on a see, this is the beautiful thing about food. I know some of you might say, you're helping them with food, but the money could go a long way. The money is $5. The money is $10. You can give a big tip. But I'm not concerned about that. They're earning their own salary. They have their own process about how they're making money. The surprise and unexpectedness and human connection that food has, money will never have it. It just doesn't. Money is transactional. Food isn't transactional. That's why I'm not saying food is for giving. Food is for sharing. So I share the food. And each one of them, even the ones who ended up refusing, there's a brother, thank you, brother. And they say no. But even then, you should watch their faces, because I watch their face and it lights up. If you give somebody, oh, here's $5, it doesn't light up. It's like, thank you so much, thank you. And they just take it. If you give them 100 or 200, maybe they'll say, wow, thank you so much. But the food, one slice of pizza changes everything, because even before we know about money, we know about food, even as babies. That's one of the first realities. A lot of us are earning money just so we can have adequate food. That's why, in terms of hierarchy of importance, the food takes center stage. So I'm not going to advocate, and I'm not going to proselytize. I'm not going to say everyone should share some food. But if you could, I know my mother would be happy. I'm sure your mothers would be happy. And I promise you, the feeling that we go through, we experience when we do it is insane. And I remember before doing it, I told my mom, I was like, Mom, I've observed this and I'm thinking of doing it. She was very happy. And she said, yeah, food is for sharing. Why don't you try it a couple of times? If they don't like it, then maybe think of something else. Just go give food to other homeless people. And I said, okay, I'll do that. And so far, this has been going so well. I'll end up doing it even when I'm in England or Turkey or wherever. I'll end up doing this. And I encourage whoever's watching or listening to do the same. It's a great experience for the receiver and for the giver. And if you can help someone get closer to food or access to food, I think that's one of the best gifts you can give them. So I'm going to stop here, because I can talk about food for a long time. But I'm going to stop here. Lesson 4 was food is for sharing. So if you, and the adage that goes with it is sharing is caring. So if you could take some food out of your own home at times, just do it. Just do it. You'll love the feeling. Thank you so much. Have a